right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Heroes on the river.
It's amazing. It's truly a miracle.
A 4-year-old girl rescued from the Big River. Tonight, a Good Samaritan talks about being in the right place at the right time. Beating the heat. The mission to keep St. Louisans cool. The pandemic holdovers thwarting those efforts.
But first, another searing day in St. Louis. Why the break from the dangerous heat will be more subtle than most would like.
The sun has gone down, but the heat is still on in St. Louis. At 10 o'clock, it's still in the upper 80s across town. Good evening. I'm Mike Bush. Ann has the night off. We flirted with 100 degrees again today and could hit it again tomorrow. But Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell says some relief is on the way, right, Scott?
Some relief is on the way. We felt a little bit of it this afternoon. You're saying you're crazy. It was still hot this afternoon. Yeah, it was. But dew points backed off just a little bit, enough so to keep our heat indices below 110 degrees. For a lot of us yesterday, that wasn't the case. We again had another record high temperature for the day. We stayed just shy of 199, but that is a new record. It's still warm and muggy tonight, and it will be through the overnight hours, but the humidity is just a touch lower. Now, you know you have problems in St. Louis, and it's hot when your average temperature for the day is 90. 81 was our low this morning. By the way, that will be the lowest temperature or the warmest low temperature for the day to go along with that record high. So 2 records by the time everything's said and done. No rainfall today, not going to get any tonight, won't see any tomorrow. Small chances we head towards Thursday, and we'll talk more about that in about 15 minutes. But here's part of the problem. Your overnight low temperatures really don't drop off much. We're forecasting again tomorrow morning right around 80 degrees to head out the door in St. Louis. Outlying areas will be in the 70s. A warm start near 100 tomorrow afternoon, but not as humid as what we saw Sunday and Monday. That makes a big difference. Even better news coming for the weekend on the humidity front. We'll talk more about that and what it means as we head towards next week.
So this first heat wave of summer is coming in hot. Many people are at risk for heat illness. Our Pepper Baker joins us now with more on efforts being made to help people during these high temperatures.
Well, Mike, for the unhoused population and people without air conditioning, these temperatures are brutal and dangerous. I visited a donation drop-off location downtown earlier today where I talked to people whose main priority during heat waves is to survive.
I walked in the door and my blood sugar was so low I thought I was going to fall over.
Christopher Carter is diabetic, has medical issues from burns, and is newly homeless. The extreme heat makes his conditions much worse.
Something as simple as just getting a Gatorade, something with just a little bit of sugar in it, and it completely turned my entire afternoon around, because I was going to be in some serious trouble.
He stumbled across the heat wave help location on Olive Street downtown, run by street outreach worker Avital Resnikoff and unhoused STL founding director Ramona Curtis.
I spoke to somebody today and he said for 2 days he was just laying in a spot with leg cramps and vomiting and nobody around to help him.
There aren't any public sources of water right now, with most of the fountains being cut off after the pandemic. So our unhoused neighbors don't really have access to water.
The city thinks that libraries are a suitable place for people to go whenever they're trying to escape dangerous conditions, and it's really not a great option for a lot of people.
And a lot of people that are unhoused suffer from mental illnesses where they have outbursts, and of course the library is a quiet place, so that's not the best place for them.
St. Louis Fire Chief Dennis Jankerson says their heat-related calls have been relatively mild.
Well, so far over the past, I'll say 3 days of heat wave, we've been averaging about 10 a day, which isn't bad. You know, we can deal with that. People who have some mild illnesses started feeling the effect of the heat later on in the afternoon. That's when we saw our numbers kind of ramp up.
But to brace for the brutally hot summer ahead, Curtis and Resnikoff are collecting donations to help the ones who need it most.
If it wasn't for people like this that are out here on the streets, you know, to disseminate that information to people like me, I wouldn't know what to do or where to go.
Now, we have information to reach out to Resnikoff and Curtis to help with donations on KSDK.com, but they said you don't need to wait on them. Simply freezing water bottles overnight and giving them out the next day, or dipping washcloths in cold water, wringing them out, and then giving them to people on the street makes the world of a difference.
Pepper, thanks. For tips on keeping your house cool and how to tell the difference between heat exhaustion and heat stroke, just text the word heat to 314-425-5355 and we'll send you a link to our weather page. Just being outside in the heat is somewhat unbearable. Well, imagine battling a fire in the 100-degree temperatures. Washington Park firefighters battled a fire this evening. It involved 2 garages and a dumpster. They called in extra crews to be safe.
Oh, it's definitely hot. That's why another reason why we call for the second alarm, so we can have the adequate manpower coming in to relieve the guys on the first incoming units so they can have a rest.
The cause of the fire is under investigation. There were no injuries from the fire or the heat. Developing tonight, Town and Country Police are investigating a shooting. It happened about 3 hours ago on South Outer 40 Drive in front of the Garden Villas West Assisted Living Complex. Police say they found a 20-year-old St. Louis man lying on the shoulder with multiple gunshot wounds. He was taken to the hospital and is expected to survive. Police do not believe this was a random act, but they're still investigating. Charges have been filed against the man accused of going on a shooting spree while riding his motorcycle in West St. Louis County. Jeffrey Burnett faces several charges. Even after a quick arrest, many along Manchester Road are still feeling uneasy. Our Brett Solomon is live in Ellisville with the latest. Brent?
Mike, that gunfire ringing out right here at Silky, striking the front door and a freezer inside. Today, managers saying that some of the employees here are understandably shaken. And guess what? They're not the only ones. Carola Beckerly is in the hair business.
We color hair, we perm hair.
Her salon, the Blonde Flamingo, has been here for 35 years. It's just doors down from Silky's Frozen Custard in Ellisville, one of several places police say this man opened fire Sunday evening while riding on a motorcycle.
Everyone that came in today, that was the subject of what happened in Ellisville. There's always people at Silky's. I mean, someone could have gotten hurt very easily.
Fortunately, no one was. Authorities say 52-year-old Jeffrey Burnett struck several cars and fired shots at other businesses. They say he had an arsenal at his home and threatened to commit a crime at his workplace, the Pageant. He allegedly said his actions would be, quote, 10 o'clock newsworthy.
My wife actually told me about it because I was at home and I had no idea it happened.
It's not West County that I thought it was, you know.
People who live in the area want to see those who commit crimes pay for them.
There's not a lot of accountability for crime these days, you know. They're arresting people and then setting them loose the next day or even sometimes the same day, you know what I mean? And so, I mean, what do you expect? 5 on Your Side sources say Burnett was a disgruntled employee at the Pageant. Police say he spray painted the building and even his own truck, allegedly writing an expletive while referring to his workplace.
There are a lot of sick people out there. Here in West County, you know, I mean, we've never had anything like that.
All right, let's go ahead and get you back live now. Managers here say they're so thankful police were able to make that quick arrest. Burnett, by the way, charged with unlawful use of a weapon and armed criminal action. Today, I also reached out to the Pageant, but I haven't heard back just yet. Tonight, we're live in Ellisville. Brent Solomon, 5 on Your Side.
We're learning more tonight about a disturbing and unthinkable crime in the Metro East. A pregnant woman found decapitated. Right now, DeAndrea Holloway is locked up and faces multiple charges for the murder of his on-again, off-again girlfriend. 22-year-old Lisa Dodd was found murdered last week inside an apartment on Bolivar Street. Her mother discovered the horrific scene.
She looks so broken. She looks so broken. For her to have to witness that, she's forever going to be scarred for that. I am praying for her. I'm praying for her family.
If you or anyone you know is a victim of domestic abuse, you can call the group Alive for help. The 24-hour hotline number is 314-993-2777. Today, St. Louis Mayor Tashara Jones signed an executive order banning the use of no-knock warrants, which allows police to enter someone's property without notice. According to the mayor's office, a similar law was passed in 2020 that limited the use of these warrants in drug cases. St. Louis police have not used no-knock warrants in the past year. The mayor's office says this order is meant to build trust between the community and police. A heroic rescue on the Big River in Jefferson County. Police say bystanders pulled a 4-year-old girl from the water and saved her life. Our Robert Townsend talked with one of those good Samaritans just a few hours ago. Robert?
Hey there, Mike. The DeSoto mom tells me she's so glad that she was in the right place at the right time and able to save the helpless child. On Sunday, Victoria Menning trekked to the Big River with her husband and daughter to escape the sweltering pre-summer heat.
Just to have like a day on the water.
Suddenly, her day on the water took a heart-racing turn.
Somebody saying that they're calling 911.
She was one of many onlookers who heard frantic screams all around the boat launch at Brown's Ford Access. Investigators say a 4-year-old girl was kayaking with her family when they let her hang onto the side of one vessel wearing a flotation device in calm waters. A stronger current instantly pulled the child away from the kayak.
It really does feel surreal.
Victoria and her family were just about to leave when Menning, another woman, and a man ran to help.
Kept doing everything in our power until she was taken out of our hands.
The man dove into the water and then pulled the child to shore. Victoria and the other bystander quickly performed CPR on the little girl.
I just kept praying the entire time and speaking out loud, please, please God, please get something, show us something.
The two courageous moms finally got the child breathing again, saving her life. Emergency responders flew the 4-year-old to a hospital.
I cried a lot, and then those tears turned into happy tears, and I was speechless. I jumped for joy, and it's amazing. It's truly a miracle.
Now, Victoria tells me throughout those frantic moments, she kept thinking about her own 2-year-old daughter. Now, she doesn't want to be called a hero. Still, the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office says it's now planning a special service for those 3 lifesavers.
Personal feeling is it's the law, it's time.
Time's up if you're driving on expired tags. The local community cracking down after seeing our I-Team investigation. Tonight, the search for a thief who targeted a priceless commodity. The hundreds of ounces of breast milk stolen from a Missouri home.
The dangerous heat's been parked right over the bi-state region. While it's kept us hot, it's also kept us dry. The changes that could bring a chance of a storm to the St. Louis area.
Right now, an online petition is calling for felony hazing charges against members of a Mizzou fraternity. It seeks justice for Danny Santulli. In just 2 days, the Change.org petition has collected more than 7,500 signatures. Santulli suffered severe brain damage from alcohol poisoning after a hazing incident at the Phi Gamma Delta House back in October. The 19-year-old is now blind and cannot walk or talk. He'll require medical care for the rest of his life. The Santulli family has settled with 23 defendants in a civil case. New developments tonight in our I-Team reporting on expired license plates. It's not just private citizens driving with bad tags, it's also government leaders. The I-Team's Christine Byers follows up with 2 officials and what one community is doing about it.
Our May investigation found 2 high-level officials in St. Louis City and St. Louis County have been driving around with expired license plate while enforcement on the issue overall is down. Just this week, we learned neither of the officials have gotten their plates renewed, and it comes as one city says it's time to crack down on the problem.
St. Louis Alderman Dan Gunther's truck was seen here on May 13th with plates that expired in 2019. After our story aired, he got a flat tire and a sticker from the city telling him he had until June 7th to move the car off the street or it would be towed. The day after that deadline, our cameras found the truck parked behind his home, expired plates still in place. We tried knocking on the alderman's door, but he didn't answer. Another official with expired and even out-of-state plates? St. Louis County Executive's Chief of Staff, Calvin Harris. Last month, the spokesman told the I-Team the issue would be resolved by May 20th. On Monday, he said the paperwork Harris needs should arrive Friday. They're 2 examples of a problem. Area police departments tell the I-Team enforcement of improper license plates is down. The mayor of St. Charles says after he saw our report, he asked his chief to make a change.
Personal feeling is it's the law, it's time.
Aren't we picking on the little guy here?
No, we're not. The little guy could buy a car, and part of buying a car is being able to pay the sales tax and the registration and everything else.
I also asked the mayor why he's making this a priority when crime is up. He says officers typically find guns and felony warrants on the people that they've been stopping. I checked in with the police chief earlier this afternoon, and he says they've issued about 30 tickets in just the past 2 days. For the I-Team, Christine Byers, 5 on your side.
A Missouri mother says thieves stole nearly 150 ounces of her breast milk. Chelsea Maley says she walked away from her garage in Moberly. When she returned, her deep freezer was wide open. About half of her stored milk was gone. Maley's 5-month-old daughter cannot tolerate baby formula. She's now reliant on donor milk.
It was really nice to have that many people reach out and say that they could help with any milk that I needed. And I even had somebody reach out and offer to come in and put a padlock on my deep freeze so that it won't happen again.
Maley filed a police report and provided investigators with surveillance video. There will soon be another option to vaccinate children and teens from COVID-19. An FDA advisory panel signed off on using Moderna's vaccine on children ages 6 to 17. It still needs, however, approval, final approval from the FDA. And we're talking about Cool Down St. Louis because today 5 on Your Side teamed up with Ameren, Missouri and Cool Down St. Louis for the annual Beat the Heat campaign in an effort to help seniors, people with disabilities, and other vulnerable customers stay cool and safe in the heat. Ameren, Missouri donated 850 air conditioners and emergency assistance funds to Cool Down St. Louis. Well, in St. Louis, we talk about the 2 H's, heat and humidity, and Scott says the good news is we're going to have the heat, but the humidity is going to go down.
The humidity started going down a little bit today, Mike. You probably noticed when you walked out this morning, it wasn't quite as thick as yesterday morning, or for that matter, on Sunday morning. Right now, it's still 87 degrees. It's still extremely warm across the area, and don't discount that. 89 degrees here as you're looking up in Florissant at the moment. Skies are mainly clear. We have a bit of a breeze, but that breeze is just blowing around very warm air tonight. 86 in Chesterfield, Cook Station 82. Greenville, Illinois is still 88 degrees at this hour. But our dew points came down into the lower 70s this afternoon. That makes a huge difference. Yesterday, some areas had dew points right around 80 degrees. As we go towards the weekend, the humidity levels actually drop off somewhat. You look across the bi-state region, we've been pretty quiet. There are some storms to our north and west in Iowa and Nebraska. They're staying up there, working around this big upper level system. You see these thunderstorms that are dropping here across parts of Florida into parts of southern Alabama, kind of right around Pensacola, heading towards Mobile. That's actually part of what went through Chicago yesterday evening, kind of working its way around that big upper level system. Of course, some of it redeveloped today, but again, we're smack dab under this ridge, and that means that we're still dealing with the heat. Heat index values tomorrow probably 2 or 3 degrees cooler than what we saw today, but still, that's day 4 of having very high heat indices. So the excessive heat warning continues. There is a chance it'll get stretched into Thursday too. Heat advisories west of St. Louis. Here's why. First of all, we are hot tomorrow. There's no question. It starts with plenty of sunshine, starts around 80, 82 early in the morning, back into the upper 90s, just shy of 100. It will feel like it's between 100 and 105 for most of us tomorrow afternoon. That's our heat index. Now, there's a small chance tomorrow night, very early on Thursday morning, there could be a few spot showers or thunderstorms trying to work in from the north and west. Really think that's a small chance. Most of us don't see that. Problem is if that cloud cover really thins out as we head into the afternoon, we could again see temperatures back into the mid to upper 90s. Heading towards Father's Day weekend, which of course is this weekend, we'll watch temperatures stay at or above 90 for the high. But our dew points actually drop back into the lower 60s this weekend, compared with being in the upper 70s to around 80. That's huge. So there'll be much less humidity this weekend. That means your overnight lows will drop back, even in town, by Saturday night into Sunday morning, back into the 60s. Unfortunately, come Monday and Tuesday, we're back close to 100 again. Tuesday, that should be a record high, but it still won't be as humid as it was Sunday and Monday.
You're going to be talking about this week for years to come, the way we're breaking records.
It's a lot of heat, that's for sure.
All right, Scott, thanks. Frank is here with sports.
Well, Mike, we almost had history tonight at Busch Stadium. We will hear from the pitcher and the center fielder who were the central characters in this drama.
If you have a tip for the 5 on Your Side I-Team, call us at 314-444-5231 or email 5onyourside@ksdk.com. All calls and correspondence will be kept confidential.
This intro was supposed to be about Paul Goldschmidt, but Miles Mikolas changed the script literally. A lot of excitement in the nightcap of the doubleheader with the Pirates. First inning, game 2. Goldie, well, he was on grass today more than Cheech and Chong. Homer number 15, and it's 3-0 Cardinals. Second inning, second at bat, a 3-run shot, 424 feet, 7-0 Cardinals. Goldie, 3 homers, 6 hits, and 8 RBIs overall today. Mikolas took a no-hitter into the 9th inning. He gets the ground ball to third base for the first out. Then the fly ball to right field for the second out. But 23-year-old Cal Mitchell will hit a drive to center just over Harrison Bader's head. Cardinals win the game 9-1. Here's Miles.
If he can't get it, nobody can, except maybe one of those guys in the stands when they have that, like, 3-foot glove, maybe that guy. But you know, we're playing shallow, so they don't kind of doink one in. I think that's what you're always guarding against.
Just carried over my head. That's all there is to it. You know, I don't want the. I think I can get every ball, but you know, he pitched out.
Imagine being in that dugout for about 6 hours today, but it's a little easier for Ali Marmol because he could be managing the National League MVP and Goldie. I told you about him being on the grass. There's another 2-0 Cards in the third. Matthew Liberatore went 5, struck out 5, and allowed no runs. And Yadier Molina made history with putout number 14,865. It's the most ever for a catcher. Cardinals win game 1, 3-1. And if that good news wasn't enough for you, and it darn well should be, we have more. Tomorrow, Jack Flaherty will make his season debut. He was supposed to start in Memphis. He said, I am ready. If he's right, he changes the entire rotation. So 5 on Your Side is your home for the U.S. Open this weekend. It's the only major that Phil Mickelson hasn't won. He's had a record 6 runner-up finishes. He used to enter this tourney as the people's choice. After joining the LIV Tour and some controversial comments, he is now the villain. So let's localize this story just a little. Jim Holtgreave is one of our town's greatest golfers ever. He won the first United States Mid-Am and played in 5 Masters. So what does he think about Phil taking $200 million and joining the Saudi-backed LIV Tour?
Money is important for everybody in this life, but it's not the only thing. And for you to give up your reputation, your heart, how you really came about to be in this position in the first place because you played on the tour and you were successful, you've forgotten where you came from.
Pat Maroon and the Tampa Bay Lightning open up the Stanley Cup Finals against Stan Kroenke's Avalanche tomorrow. Now, if having a player from Oakville in Tampa and the Devil in Colorado isn't enough of an incentive to root for the Lightning, well, here's one more.
I hate Stan Kroenke. I'm a St. Louis boy. Oh, yeah. I can't stand that guy. Honestly, you guys played at the Dome. It was a bad arena. I'm sure it was terrible for you guys to go in there and play, but to have that taken away from us, it just sucks. The fans are true passion in St. Louis, and I just can't stand that guy for taking them out of there.
And we are hoping that Pat Maroon makes it 4 Stanley Cups in a row.
All right, Frank, thanks. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. The former giant in internet browsing turning off its search engine just hours from now. The annual Folds of Honor campaign, sponsored by Schnucks, is now underway. From now until July 4th, you can round up at the register. Money raised goes towards scholarships for spouses and children of fallen and wounded service members. 5 on Your Side is a proud partner of the campaign. An end of an era. Internet Explorer will go dark tomorrow. Microsoft will no longer support what was once the king of internet browsers. It debuted in 1995 and at one point commanded 95% of the browser market. It now sits at around 5%. With the need for blood donations at an all-time high, Cardinal fans are rolling up their sleeves. The team's 19th annual blood drive kicked off today and runs through Thursday. Donors receive a limited edition Cardinals t-shirt while supplies last. To find a donation site near you, go to the As Seen on TV section at KSDK.com. The U.S. Army celebrated its 247th birthday today. Soldiers at Fort Leonard Wood celebrated with several events today, including a run, golf scramble, and cake. The U.S. Army was established on this date in 1775, making it older than the nation it serves. And there you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next. And Jimmy's guests tonight include Dakota Johnson and Carrie Underwood. Start your day with Today in St. Louis beginning at 4:30 a.m. Have a great tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow.